Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode at Founder Stories. In today's episode, I'm speaking with Sai Krishna, the founder of SuperBlog.ai, who is building an alternative to WordPress and Medium blogs with auto optimized for SEO and speed. I'm speaking with Sai everything about how he found inspiration to do indie hacking, how he's currently growing and building SuperBlog.ai, his future plans, and a little bit about his personal life as well. Also, this episode is brought to you by Product Logs, a customer feedback, roadmap, and announcements platform where you can easily collect and organize your customers' feedback, share roadmaps, and product updates with your customers easily. So, without any further ado, let's get started. All right. Hey, hi, Sai. How are you doing? Thanks for first of all joining in and taking out time. I know you've been extremely busy traveling, and it means a lot that you've taken out the time and you've joined for the show. So thank you for coming.
Hi Priyanka, thank you. I'm good. How are you doing? And first of all,
Very
thanks for accommodating. Like my schedule is like literally, it's not a schedule at all. So, but I really appreciate this.
great. I mean, yeah. So this is something that you can probably think about, like chatting with probably a new friend. So it's nothing. Nothing is scripted. Nothing is like we haven't had chat before. But I'm looking forward to know a lot about you. What have you been doing? What have you done in the past? How is Superblog going right now? So why
Sure.
don't we just start with what actually started? What was your motivation to actually start doing indie hacking?
So when I started doing, I don't even know the word indie hacking. It was like back in 2010 and 11. So I was just a like college grad, just building stuff. So when I built my first software and I put it out there on the internet, people started using it, and in no time it got 1 million downloads, and then went on to like hit 10 million downloads, and then I started building more products, and then I got to know it's called indie hacking.
Yeah. Interesting. So where did you do your college from?
From Andhra University, Vizag.
Nice. And while, like you said, that you started building in your college itself. So I am assuming that you didn't really like the college curriculum, education style, and like, okay, I'll just do my stuff at the side and probably see how it goes.
It's not that I don't like the college, but I actually love my college. It's a fantastic place, and profs are also encouraging. But as you said, curriculum is like very outdated. At least it was
Yeah,
outdated at that point of time.
yeah.
So I kind of went through the syllabus in the first year only, like what was there for the rest of the duration. So it didn't really like I didn't really find it interesting, but I love to code usually. So then I try to build this and that. So one thing which I usually do is basically try to figure out my own problems and build something for them. And that's how the first product was born. Actually, it was just like it was very how would say it was a need for me at that point of time.
So what? Tell me more. What was this product? What was the problem that you were facing?
It's called hotspot, short for mobile hotspot. So it turns your Windows laptop into a Wi-Fi hotspot. So like back in the day in 2011, I got my first Android phone. So I was at my home at that point of time. We didn't have Wi-Fi at home, and Wi-Fi was not also prevalent everywhere.
Yeah,
So it was just an Ethernet cable, or I mean, if you are born in that era, you'd know a dongle, a 3G
yeah,
dongle.
a dongle. Yeah, Docomo dongle.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So uh, Android phones at that point of time didn't had capability to detect ad hoc mobile hotspots. Essentially, Windows laptops at that point of time only were able to create ad hoc hotspots. So that's what you used to see in network Wi-Fi network sharing. So I was digging deeper into that, and then I didn't had a router, and if I ordered a router at that point of time in Flipkart, it would take at least 30 days for me to arrive. So yeah, I live in a village. I used to live in a village. My parents live there. So yeah, I thought I can't really wait for that, or uh, like I or my dad has to go to nearby town, which is like 200 kilometers, and buy a router and come back. I did not wanted to do that. So it's a basic understanding that like there's Wi-Fi card in the laptop and a Wi-Fi chip in router as well. It's just
Yeah.
that in router it is amplified with antennas and probably a better RAM to dedicatedly handle the clients. So I thought laptop must be much powerful for that aspect, not for the antennas. So then I started looking into Windows documentation actually. So
Mhm.
it turns out there are internal APIs which we can use to trigger infrastructure mode, which is what typically used in routers. So I built a initially I built like 3 scripts, command line scripts, that does the thing. I showed it to my friend and he was like, dude, I don't even know what scripts are. Like, why can't you build a GUI? So that's how I started building the first app. I used to call it software back then, Windows software.
Windows off.
And
Nice.
there's no apps back
Innocent.
then. Yeah. So yeah, I put it on there, and I used to be very active in XDA developers at that point of time. XDA developers is a forum for Android enthusiasts. Now I don't know if I think they must be having good traffic now, but even then they were like quite popular. So I used to mod the ROMs and flash it onto Android phones, and that's how I was like aware of them. And once I put it there, I got my initial customers like very quickly, because that was a massive problem at that point of time, because
Yeah.
like the phones were booming up, but the infra was not there exactly.
Infra was not exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and it became a huge hit. And interestingly, all IITs and NITs and BITS, at that point of time, the colleges, they didn't have Wi-Fi even. Like they were like giving a dedicated Ethernet line to every student's room.
Yeah.
So even they wanted internet, and more than that, they wanted to play the LAN games. So M Hotspot essentially creates a hotspot, right? So now you can play local games and share content also.
Yeah.
So it kind of became viral, and like a lot of people in the institute started using it, and suddenly and then there was this SEO boost that happened, and yeah, that's how the first thing that I built took off.
Nice, nice. So, did this come out of your own curiosity or your own thing about, gaming or something like that, that you wanted to play games with?
Not gaming. Basically, the problem statement was like, I bought a new phone, I want Wi-Fi. There's no Wi-Fi router, so I want to build a software that uses my laptop's hardware to share internet. That's it.
Okay, nice, nice, interesting. So, how did you manage to go from there to
Mhm.
building a completely new web SaaS product, right? Web app in SaaS, and it's completely very different. How did you like do a complete transition from building Android apps to a web app? What was your motivation behind it? What happened in that, and what was the time frame?
Well, it took a lot of time. Actually, SuperBlog is my first SaaS, my first B2B SaaS. So I was building B2C apps, like as I just said, right? Like it started with Windows first, and then jumped into Android apps, then games. So then I moved to Bangalore and found a co-founder, and so actually he pitched an idea like, why can't we build something like that you find in flights, like in-flight entertainment system, right? Like where you connect
Yeah.
to the flights on board and you can stream movies. That actually happens locally, because satellite internet is like very costly, and so they have an internal system. So my friend pitched me like, hey, because you're already into the Wi-Fi hotspot space, why can't we build a miniature version of that into a small device that goes into buses and cabs? And with M Hotspot as part of like product lineup, roadmap, feature lineup. So I built content sharing as well. If there is something on your laptop, you can just scan the QR in the M Hotspot, and you can stream HD content onto your phones or multiple devices basically. So we wanted to miniature the technology into device and do that. And for it's called Spot Play. So for that, I first initially again I built Android app because that's what I was good at. And but it turns out it's a problem. Like this was in 2015 December and like 16. So when passengers are in the bus, we show them a QR, like click scan that and go to Play Store and download the app. But the thing is, the assumption is that they won't have internet once they're in the bus and they're somewhere in midway. So that's why there was a barrier to entry to download the app. So then I had to learn web dev actually. So I picked up jQuery Mobile and built a web app version of the Android app, and then and wrote a local DNS server, like where people just need to enter s.com or s.spotplay.tv, I think. And then, it redirects into the internal, it actually rewrites the local host page into the web app. It's like now you have your own personal Netflix on your phone. So that's how I actually got into web dev. So probably 2011, Windows, Android, and then Unity games. And then 2015, I started web dev. 15 December, Jan, 2016. Then I was working on that for 3.5 years. And then we couldn't, the startup failed basically. Then I was the CTO for DigiBooster. It's a startup in Mumbai. It's a content marketplace, but we took a pivot to influencer marketplace, basically connecting influencers and brands. So that is like full blown a B2B web product.
Okay.
And a lot of scrapers and scraping content, and like 100,000 plus creators, like we used to monitor them and like get the data analytics and all that. So I built that single-handedly again. Even Spotplay I was like building single-handedly. Yeah, so that was my, you could say, like entry into B2B SaaS. But like 2019 to 2020 I used to like build that, and then COVID hit, and things happened. And in 2020, I figured out, fine, I'll go back to my solo dev mode, and then I started building Superblog. That's how I got into this B2B SaaS.
So how long did it take you to learn new tech? Like I'm sure there is a different tech stack
Yeah,
that you've been using for Superblog, or even before that you said about the marketplace,
yeah,
and of course the tech stack that you had learned for your Android app and Windows, etc. That was completely different. So how
yeah.
long did it take you to navigate from that previous tech stack to a new tech stack? How did you learn, first of all, and how long did it take you to take up
Yeah.
all of it?
So generally, first I love to read the documentation for completely new language or new stack, or if I'm using a new library, so it's like my pastime. I just randomly open up some good open source libraries and look at the documentation. And even when I'm learning, I follow that approach. And then if I'm stuck somewhere, or if I need more clarity on that, I open YouTube and look at some like content creators videos. Courses, not so much, but content, like some creators videos. But the major shift, right, from so jQuery mobile, I did the same thing. Like we don't even need it's like plain JavaScript, right? So basically add on library, that's it. But so when building Spotplay with jQuery mobile, we had some problems basically, and hardware was also limited. So it was a very small device. It had like 4 MB of storage. In that, after the basic Linux kernel and the system libraries, the space left for me to ship the actual app and the UI, it was around less than 1 MB, I think. So the jQuery mobile library and the UI library was taking up so much of space. So then I ran into internationalization, basically problem, because we were in Chile and we need to add support for more languages essentially. So then jQuery mobile, so that's where I hit a problem with jQuery mobile, and then I wanted to rewrite in vanilla JavaScript. Then at that point of time, I took a pause, and then I already heard of React. So it essentially took me 3 days to learn React. So I went through a
Three
course. That
days.
was,
What are you saying?
I mean, I wouldn't
Amazing.
say I know the entire React, but just enough to rewrite the
Hmm.
entire app into
Yeah.
Spotplay app into React. So I took a course and just quickly did a speed run through that. And I think it took I pulled an all-nighter. So I rewrote the entire jQuery mobile streaming app into React app. So that was that, and that's how usually my approach goes. And for Superblog, I started using TypeScript for the first time. So because I went through some certain issues when I was especially building DigiBooster, such a huge system. I decided we should actually go back to statically typed languages. That's
Yeah.
how I decided, okay, let's do that. And it didn't take much time actually. And also to even to ship the MVP of Superblog, it was like faster. I think it took me like 1 to 2 months, I guess.
And today, if today you had to do this, right, with all these uh, cursor and Claude available at your hands, what do you think? How much time would take for you to do this entire process again?
That's a lovely question. A very good question. As a matter of fact, for 3 weeks, I tried Super Maven. It's a plugin in VS Code. It was good, but it was not great. I mean, I felt it was like still better than ChatGPT because of the context. Literally, it's been 4 days since I installed Cloud, but I didn't get more time to try with that. But whatever small time that I played with, I did really see certain workflow improvements. So I cannot really comment on the logical part at this point of time. Probably I'll write a tweet like once I start building that.
Yeah, yeah, sure. Why I was asking, because so a couple of days back I did this experiment for myself. So like I said, I don't come from a tech background, but I have a little bit of knowledge. Initially, during those COVID days, I was trying to self-learn JS, React, Python, etc. So little bit of knowledge that I do have. So what now, I host my own website on Webflow, and
Hmm.
of course my CMS is also on Webflow, which is why I came across Superblog, because it's Webflow. Like I had to do the entire tech SEO thing by myself, right? And I've been doing this continuously for the past 1 month, trying to understand what is missing, what is not missing, paying people to do an SEO audit for my website. So to understand what are the problems there are still in terms of performance and speed, etc.
Yeah.
So one of the issues that I faced in my CMS was particularly Webflow, was I wanted to do internal linking for my blog post, right? And there was no plugin available as such that can actually suggest some internal phrases and because
Yeah.
now I have around 40-50 blog posts, and every time I publish a new blog post, I find it difficult to identify the phrases and again link those phrases with my previous blog posts, etc.,
Yeah,
or the relevance, which is very important for SEO. So what I did was I kind of went to Claude. I said, can you just suggest? I'm giving you my link. I'm giving you my blog link. I'm giving you all my blog
nice.
posts. Suggest me some of the phrases with their relevant links, and it did it, and I was like, wow, that's amazing. Now something should be built around this so that it works really well, and it reduces a lot of time in that sense. So this is why I was asking. But
Yeah.
coming now to super blogs, what exactly is super blog? Let the audience have the context of it, and how did you come up with this idea?
Okay, just to take derive from your example, right? So blogging, especially once you look at a scale, when you're focused on SEO to drive SEO based traffic, you need to take care of multiple things constantly. And there are broadly how I classify like five pillars: technical SEO, on-page SEO, content SEO, which is the crucial one, and then backlinks, and then speed. This five, if you nail these five, you have a very good chance of ranking in ahead in Google. So now, uh, in like putting manual efforts for each thing is not necessary essentially. So we can automate certain parts of it. So let us assume if you use Superblog and if you start writing and publishing content and you do a Google page speed and core web vitals audit, you automatically score 90 plus, irrespective of how much content you publish or how much traffic you get. So one point is like taken care of there, like multiple points are taken care of there. And then Superblog suggests you the best practices for writing SEO optimized content. And then there is an AI helper in Superblog, not a writer, a helper that actually helps you to target content clusters and content pillars because Superblog has complete idea of your data. And then the next feature that I'm going to ship is basically a much more advanced version, like where I integrate the entire end-to-end SEO tools, including search volumes and queries. So in a way, think of Superblog like something that looks as beautiful and optimized for conversions also, not just SEO. For best conversion practices, like if you take a human and take WordPress and install like 10 to 15 plugins and then use SEO tools, then you get the output, right? So that's
Yeah.
what Superblog is like. It's a one-stop solution.
Amazing, amazing. I think this is what I believe differentiates your platform from these major giants like WordPress, and Webflow is another one, and others like Ghost, etc.
Yeah.
And what I would like to understand is when you started with this idea, right? Like, first of all, what motivated, how did you come across? And I believe you are a tech person, right?
Yeah.
How did you come into this domain of SEO? Because I have been spending for the past 1 year, I have been trying to understand SEO. Like, okay, this source, that resource, and it's a humongous, it's a sea, it's an ocean. SEO is an ocean, if I have to say. Everything you have to understand all these concepts around SEO, on page, off page, site speed, backlinks, etc., etc. There's so many things, there's so many gambits of it. So how did you come across this? And that too coming from, that I understand you first build an Android app, then you build something around content,
First Windows app and then Android
Windows
apps.
app, then Android app, then you came to content marketplace, etc. So how did you arrive at, this entire SEO thing?
Okay. So since I'm a techie, I'm really bad at sales. It is proven also. So when I built M Hotspot, I really don't want to do sales. Like, and even before that, right, I used to be a power, like I'm a power user. Like I search for things that I want and I find software and I download. So I don't know the word or concept SEO, but essentially I was already doing that as a like 16-year-old, 17-year-old kid. So when I built my first product, I want that. Like I want people to search for this problem and my software should come up. It started with that, and then I started like searching into SEO. What is that? And then I used SEO for MHotspot, and then for all my products from then, because it was like logical for me, right? Like you look at Google Trends, you look at Google Keyword Planner, search volumes, and then you basically put content and match those and get people onto your platform. As simple as
Right.
that. And same thing for apps also. Like I used ASO and I was on like top 3 and top 8 of Google Play Store, millions of users again. And same thing, like even when using Digiboost, building Digiboost, like we used SEO and like, we were ranking very well on Google so that brands were finding us and creators were finding us. So that's how I got introduced to into all and how I went through. The landing on the idea of Superblog, it's very funny because the whole journey of mine eventually led to Superblog. So I'm using SEO and blog posts, and with no surprise, WordPress. And I was able to do like 165K visitors a month. So that's like more than 1.5 million visitors a year kind of traffic. So typically using WordPress and then using shared hosting and then VPS, it's basically every time we need to optimize the server and then optimize the WordPress theme also and the
Yeah.
installation and the plugins so that, it won't become slow as we get more traffic,
Yeah.
because that will be
Yeah.
again a penalty from Google search.
Yeah.
So I built my own framework internally, like moving away from WordPress, which is essentially like crazy fast. So then I wrote a post about that, ironically, on medium.com, how I built this new framework using existing technologies basically. And it kind of became like mini viral. So people loved that, using that Jamstack approach. I use something called Gatsby.js, which is a static site generator. Then, so they have a starter kit usually if somebody wants to create a new project. So I built an open source version that's something that looks like Medium. So you can write Markdown files and then, you have your blog. And then, people started using that. So this was in 2018 December, I think, or like 2019 Jan 1st, I published the article, I think. So until 2020, I had the validation, like people actually need something like this. So that's how I'm like, okay, fine, I'll make it a SaaS. So that's how I made a SaaS out of it.
Interesting. So you open sourced it, right? Like initially you open sourced it, and what was the like? How many people actually showed interest in it in that period, 1 month period?
I don't even remember. Like basically, it's like few double-digit stars, maybe less than 100 stars on GitHub for that particular Gatsby.js starter. But Medium article got some good reach. Uh, so it was just going like that. And after I quit DigiBooster, I thought, fine, I built few other, like couple of other products. But then I realized, you know what, I should probably build a blogging platform, because even though you give open source tools, or you actually explain people this is how you need to build an optimized blogging platform, not all are techies and they don't want to invest that time into that. So if you actually go to my Medium post, there's like literally everything, not literally everything, but you can for yourself build an optimized blogging Jamstack blog for yourself. But converting that into a platform that is scalable was the challenge. So yeah, that's how SuperBlog was born.
So you said that there were a couple of people who showed interest via Medium and a couple of people who showed interest in your GitHub as well. Did you have any sort of lead magnet in terms of convert? Did you capture emails? Because why I'm asking this, when you actually launched Superblog, did you find those people who were initially interested convert into your customers, or they were absolutely
No,
new customers?
there was no lead magnet. I mean, there was no intention at that point of time when I did that to build a SaaS. So I was like, so I was already using this framework for my own products. So I thought it's nice to write a blog post on Medium. Become a creator, I don't know, but just to write a thing, and purely because of that. So there was no lead magnet or anything. But once I decided I'll start building Superblog, so I roughly have an idea, like it will take X amount of time. So I built a Google form just to uh, circulate in WhatsApp groups, like 2, 3 groups. And then I got like 40 to 50 emails, I think, and that I just explained them, hey, I'm building a blogging platform, which is like automatically optimized for SEO and auto scales in terms of like speed and content, and design is automatically designed for the best conversion practices. You'll get more leads, blah, 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 just to pitch them. And I got like, I think 40 to 50 emails from them. I'm not sure how many of them converted. I didn't even track. But with my if my memory serves right, probably I think 2, 3 people became customers, I think, from that list.
Okay, so these you said you circulated in some WhatsApp groups. Now, what kind of customer segment did they belong to? Were they did you analyze that okay, these are not the people who are going to actively use blogging platform or something like that? What was those? Because I believe that was your first starting point of marketing, right? Where you just sent out a message saying that I'm building this platform. Would you be interested? Now, usually what other people would usually they do is conduct a market research, see where are my customers hanging out, what are my ideal customers, and then probably pitch my product there, because then I will get the maximum conversions, right? How was your approach?
So that was basically to generate some buzz, or pre-business thing is what I had in my mind. And so I know those groups. So one group is basically SLP, Startup Leadership Program. It's an incubator which I was part of. few years back. So I exactly know the kind of audience that I'm going to share my message to. Startup founders, early stage, who are looking for growth. And the other one is 1,000 founders. So good target audience. I got good feedback. People were curious at that point of time. I didn't really conduct an interviews or anything to understand their pain points, because I'm solving for myself. Like I know what I did to have a SEO optimized blog, all the manual parts. Now I'm just automating that. Um, Pretty much that's it. Like there was no pitch or sales or anything. But one person who I don't even know replied to me something, and then we got on a call, and he gave some valuable feedback in terms of pricing. But that's about it.
Nice. So since you mentioned pricing, I was actually going through one of your podcasts like some 8-9 months back. You had mentioned about pricing that you initially you started with $1, and some good guy came to you and said, no, not don't launch at $1, launch at least at $9. So tell me about this story.
So, see, I'm coming from B2C, right? Like, so I built like close to like 25, 30 apps, I think, like even more than that, maybe. So, all B2C. So, generally on Android store, at least back in the day, it used to be like $9, 9.9 per year. That was the standard thing for almost B2C apps. I think now it's maybe $15 per year, I think, generally a utility tool B2C thing. So, I was coming from that mindset only. So, my idea is I'll build a blogging platform and charge like $1 per month. So then this friend, at that point of time, a stranger came and said, he gave a beautiful logic. Dude, you're selling to businesses. People don't even want to see $1 charge on their credit card. So at least a B2B SaaS starts with $9 per month. It's respectful. Then I'm like, fine, then I'll start with $9 per month. That's how it started.
How has that decision turned out for you in the long run?
Fantastic, I would say. Yeah, it's amazing. And I, on the same context, even so, I started at 9, right? Then increased to 19 and then 29. Another like very close friend of mine, again, like who I met in SLP. So he gave beautiful logic. So 3 founders were randomly chilling and we were just talking. And so he said one amazing logic. See, you have like now 9, 19, and 49, right? Remove the 9, move the 19, and then, add your plan. His logic, because he's experienced, like he has done that. And he just said, like, I had data also, like people just go for the least available plan. That's it. Just simply make it 19. You will never even see a drop in your conversions. And it worked. So it's now SuperBlog starts at 29. Still, it
Okay.
works. As long
And
as the product keeps giving. So you can't do this with a shitty product. That I can tell you.
and you kept all the features as the same as it was in your $9 and $19 plan, or
I
did you
actually removed some
increase?
features.
Oh, how amazing! So I mean,
So that's
it's
another
very
experiment I
interesting.
did later.
Yeah.
It worked out very well.
So one of the things this I have been facing currently, like a problem in our product was that, uh, like we want to increase our pricing because we need, like just a couple of days back we saw one guy just come and subscribe to an annual billing. And
Mm-hmm.
currently our platform is not that matured, or we have a lot of great features. But
Mm-hmm.
so when I was discussing with my co-founder, how do we actually do a make our pricing tables with the features that gives them the maximum value. And even if somebody, so we also have a freemium plan, right? So if even if somebody comes as a free user on the platform, he should be able to upgrade immediately, saying that, well, I'll get more value if I upgrade
Yeah.
to whatever tier, be it tier 1, tier 2, etc. But I should be able to find that value immediately, and what all the features that are present in the platform itself, that should
Mm-hmm.
give me an idea. So
Mm-hmm.
like you said, right, initially you launched with $9, but then you changed it to 19, and then of course $29. This happened over a period of time with the customer insights that you got, or this was just like you said, that a random decision that took place on a table with two other co-founders? So yeah, how was that?
9 to 29, the journey, literally the words by my friend. That's it.
So a couple of founders of us, we were actually discussing that we kind of sort of start overthinking a lot, right, when it comes to pricing or when it comes to marketing. But if you just remove all those obstacles and just do what your gut instinct is saying, or whatever, if you have found some mentorship or from your mentors, just do that. try it out, and probably it can work out very well for you, right? It may fail, but sometimes it may actually do really good for you.
I mean, so I do market research in a way. See, for me, how I see basically it is, first of all, we need to define our goal. Once we set that goal, then we need to pick the framework we need to follow. And I wouldn't say that I want to market research and blindly build products. We need some validation basically. But then again, it comes in terms of the framework you choose. Say for example, so if first I only build things that I want for myself, and then just as a framework, I go on Google Trends and Google search volumes to see if other people are wanting this or not. Okay, so
Yeah.
that's how I validate. But then there is another way also to look at this. Okay, see, if our goal is basically to build a unicorn and all, then there is completely different playbook. But I hope we are talking in context of indie hackers in this
Yeah.
podcast. So let us assume if I want to make 100K ARR, right? So breaking that down, it's simply 8.3K MRR. That roughly turns out to 330 customers if you charge $29 per month, which is the general figure. 29 per month is like a doable number.
Yeah.
So now this is
For
how I would
most
think,
SaaS, 29 has been the baseline. Yeah.
right? And this is how I would think. So if you build a product, it would be mathematically possible to find 333 other people who would be willing to pay 29. That is the equation. That's it. And now it's a function of time. Give enough time, you'll hit that number automatically. How you stand with that is the principle. So like I said, framework. So two frameworks, people can pick like how they want to go.
No, so what is this other framework that you see? One, you said that, of course,
Yeah,
I
one is
look at
data driven,
the
right?
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, and second is your uh, solving for your need, and then finding 303 people who can pay you. That's it.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. So initially, even when I started, I actually look at, okay, I need to reach this MRR, and how many customers do I need to reach this MRR, and and that is how I also derive the pricing, right? Like initially, when your product is not very mature and it's a very basic MVP, I for me, I don't think I can charge like the at least even the baseline like $29. I'll charge something lower, and then probably when it's mature enough with customer feedback, insights, etc., I will then increase my pricing tiers. Probably, like you said, it's a function of time, right? Like if I'm spending 6 months to basically mature the product, and by then if I reach probably 10 customers, in another 6 months I might actually reach around 100 customers. So it depends
Yeah,
upon how much time you give to your product as well, accordingly how you've structured the entire
yeah,
pricing and your features.
yeah. And somebody might have like a set timeline. Probably in 1 year I want to achieve this. So then they will adjust their marketing and go to market accordingly.
So coming to marketing, right? Like how you are now a solopreneur. I know that initially you started with like your last one was with a co-founder, or I believe you were the CTO of the
Yeah.
company. So now that you are a solopreneur and you have to do the marketing yourself, and I know developers dread marketing, hate marketing. how what is your thought process, and how have you approached it in the last few years?
See, I really don't like to do that typical marketing on social media. So I just share like whatever I want to share. And see, one problem that I face with Superblog basically is it's a B2B SaaS and it is what I would call an all-in product. So that's why it will have a lot of barrier to entry also for people to try. See, for a big brand to try a new product where they're giving their entire content, Google search relevance, they're indexing everything to one platform, it's not so easy to get that trust. So what I try to do is like solve that trust barrier. So how can I do that? There are multiple approaches how you solve that. But given my bandwidth, me being a solopreneur and practically zero money budget for marketing, so I looked at build in public because I was getting to know of certain case studies. So I thought I'll start publishing everything about Superblog, including tech, transparently, so that potential customers will be able to trust the product. Okay, I can trust this product and I can jump in, that this will be there for quite some time. That's how I started Build in Public, and it worked out. Like, it solved the trust barrier. On top of that, it kind of became a marketing loop now. And then the word of mouth that people keep doing, right? Not just customers who are friends on social media also, right? Even they started recommending Superblog very much. And then my customers do, like, they recommend Superblog like fiercely, like with all their hearts. So I
Yeah,
got
yeah,
like
I
very good
have I
customers
have
like that.
received recommendations about Superblog in my own community, which
Oh,
is how
thank
I
you.
came to understand about Superblog. In fact, my co-founder Anurag, he's also my partner. He was very adamant on get Sai on the podcast because he's a big fan of your work. So
Thank
I
you
was
so
like
much.
that. Yeah, so your word of mouth has definitely really great, to be
Yeah.
honest. And but let's discuss about people who are building products and who are in their very initial stage of their journey, like probably
Mhm.
6 to 12 months in their journey, right? What would you suggest or recommend those people? Because I'm sure in those 6 to 12 months of journey, you cannot build that word of mouth because you have customers which are very closed customer set who are still testing your platform, still understanding and giving you feedback, and you are also evolving at that in that time period. So for any solopreneur, like what should his or her approach be towards marketing in those 6 to 12 months? And it's a very crucial time because a lot of indie hackers kind of quit in those 12 months, right? Because they are not getting a lot
Yeah.
of people who are coming to the product, or they're not paying. Now that you have been through this journey, what would you suggest? How should a solopreneur go about in this journey in their first 12 months?
Even 12 months, like in the first 6 months, basically, people should hang out where the customers are. Just simply building something and writing posts on LinkedIn or Twitter doesn't work. See, for me, for Superblog, I know my ICP. It's not for individuals. It's not for large enterprises. It's for that startups in a certain parameter range whom I want to reach. LinkedIn and Twitter has been the best place for that kind of audience. But I know other indie hackers who use Facebook groups. Facebook groups work amazingly for
Mhm.
certain kind of products. So, or Reddit, what they do is, or, Shopify, there are so many Shopify apps that do very good MRR. So they hang out at places where their customers are, and they try to build their rapport and profile there. And then once you establish that trust and circle there, and then you launch a product, people would be very receptive. Maybe for the initial customers, people should do that, I guess.
Yeah. And so also there's one more thing with Superblog is the branding, right? Like you have
Yeah.
used branding very efficiently in terms of
Thank you.
reaching out to other customers as well. Have you thought about removing branding, or just like always keeping the branding? Because a lot of people are very conscious about, because if I am moving from WordPress or Medium, specifically Medium, to Superblog, I would want my own personal branding. I wouldn't want the others, like the Superblog branding, to show. So what have your thought about it? Or do you have that thing in your highest plan or something like that?
Okay, so there is something called powered by Superblog footer, that comes just
Yeah,
like any other SaaS,
yeah,
right? Like powered by thing will be there. I never thought to keep the branding for paid customers. So some founders suggested me in the cheapest plan, don't give an option to remove branding.
yeah.
In the higher plan, give an option. But I felt that's a dark practice because they're paying me whatever amount. It's my thing that I'm charging low, but that doesn't mean so I remove completely branding there. But initially, I had a fun thought where I saw it in one of the products. So if you go to pricing plan, like where you show monthly, yearly thing, they have a button that says need more discount. So once you click on, I think it's a render, I think render.com. So once you click on that, they'll show you a page like if you tweet about this or write a blog post or something, then share the link, you get some 10% discount on annual plan and all that. I tried that and people initially tweeted that, but somehow suddenly then I felt it's enticed thing, even though they're sharing truth only, but I felt it's an enticed thing, so I removed that. So now literally there is no option. So for those customers, I used to say, you will not be able to remove the branding powered by Superblog. So now no longer that's there. So if somebody uses Superblog, they literally it's people won't know it's a Superblog from looking at the UI. There are some certain cases where certain NGOs or open source products or certain customers who ask for free subscription or like some discount. For them, I just one-to-one-on-one basis, I give the coupon code, and then they won't be able to remove this branding. But I won't ask them to tweet about my product. So it's just they ask for a discount, I give them that.
That's nice. Yeah. I mean, you're very genuine and nice towards your customers and in the ecosystem as a whole. Because when it comes to marketing, yes, there are a lot of tricks, tactics that people kind of use to get the word out and get people on board. But you particularly, you have a solid mindset of, to be true to your customers, right? And the value that you are giving. So that's very nice. I absolutely adore it. So
Thank you.
when it comes to, that you had open source, and now it's a paid product, right? So why did you ever think about, open sourcing a certain segment of it, or keep, like, you are getting good money from the SaaS, so let's just continue.
Well, actually, yes, true. I agree. So my initial plan was, if I don't get customers in 1 year, I'll open source the whole damn thing, like entire SuperBlog platform. Thankfully, it didn't come to that.
Okay, let's like talk about like your initial set of customers, right? Like you said, you initially you got a couple of people from the post that you got. How did that uh, get escalated into your first 1000 MRR? Because that's something very crucial and very difficult for people to attain, right? Like your first 1000 is difficult. After first 1000, the wheel starts rotating automatically,
Hmm.
and you start getting more customers. But the transition from 0 to 1K, how was that for you? What did you do? And was there any time that you felt like, oh, this is not happening?
The first year I felt like that, because when I launched the product initially, I was like all super excited because my second customer is a $1 billion company at that point of time. So when I did a small video on LinkedIn explaining, like, why Superblog is so fast, and I actually put the timer and showed that. Then VP of engineering, who was later the CTO for that company, reached out to me on LinkedIn and connected to me their team, and and they became customers. Like, so I was like super excited because such a brand coming to a very new small product. Then after like maybe like 4 months or 5 months, I genuinely somehow thought I'll get more MRR, but it didn't happen. Which I was like on the practical side, because it's
Mm.
bound to happen like that. And I did feel okay, it's taking rather slow, but I had my framework set clearly. I'll take some time, because before Superblog I've been working like extremely hard, and with different plans and aims, and then some personal issues as well. So then I thought, okay, Superblog, I started with this, again, like going back to the solopreneur mode. There's no rush. I had like 10 months of expenses as savings usually. I always keep that in my bank. That gives me some peace of mind. So that's how. So after that, I felt, okay, fine, it's fine. It's taking time. My goal is not to build a 100K ARR SaaS in 1 year, or I don't want to go raise funds immediately and show to VC that, month on month growth, or I don't have any burn. So that's the thought process there. And yeah, getting to that 1000 MRR, I think it took like 2 years, I think maybe a little over 2 years, I guess. So once it hit there, then it compounded basically. And
Yeah.
that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, so you said that it took you about 2 years. So now in those 2 years, because I'm asking and I'm curious because I'm currently in that phase, right? That we want to hit that 1K MRR at least, and it's been 1 year for us. And now the thing is that we are getting revenue, but we have done LTDs, lifetime deals, which we can discuss later probably. But and from that we have already generated some revenue for us. But this path of getting that 1K MRR is extremely difficult, right? Because
Yeah. Yes.
as an entrepreneur who's working full time into the project, like you said, even if you have runway, right? Like you do keep your runway, but then there is a lingering thought, right? That will it happen or not happen? So that time period for you it was 2 years, and it's very crucial, I believe, that sticking to your guns and sticking and believing in your project is probably the biggest thing that one could do in terms of surviving those first initial
Yeah.
12-24 months. So how did you keep yourself motivated in that time period?
See, even before that, I was clear of the model that I want to go. So there is no other option. It's like whatever it takes, I have to build this. So That's the first approach. And second is the morale booster is basically the validation. I understood that customers are loving this, and the feedback that I got from my customers, it's like literally right. Like they are getting rid of their engineer and UI UX person and like DevOps person to set up and then bring in the marketing team. It's a clear problem solver that I understood. The problem was I didn't had that much audience at that point of time, maybe 200 followers on Twitter, I think. So I understood it's a marketing problem for now. Problem solution is validated. Problem solution is validated for the 100K ARR SaaS. I cannot say this will be the next product that captures 36% of entire web. For that, it needs more validation in terms of product and feature set and roadmap. But for this thing, yes, it is validated. So that was the biggest positive that always kept me going.
Yeah, I mean that is where a lot of solopreneurs who are ideally developers, they kind of get stuck at, right? Like first of all, it's very difficult to realize that this is a marketing problem. And once you realize it is a marketing problem, now you do not know how to market and how to spread the word, how to get inbound leads, etc. That becomes your second challenge. Now, once you have gone through those challenges, it sort of becomes a little bit easy, where that is where you decide, probably I as a developer want to learn marketing, do some marketing, or I might hire a co-founder or somebody who is good at marketing. Which brings me to the question that, did you at any point of time think about getting somebody who is good at marketing, since you had already validated your product on your end? Now, did you feel that I should get somebody who can actually scale this and grow this much faster?
It's a two-step framework or answer, I would say. Number one, taking a step back. This is what I thought. I will get to 100K ARR with Superblog in my own time, sweet time, as a solo indie hacker traveling the world. And basically, money and customers are byproducts. That's not the goal. Once I hit 100K ARR, then I'll take a call. Should I do an exit for SaaS multiple, or raise VC funds and then build a 10 people like superheroes team with like proper teams. Like I have the roles in mind as well. And then, go after WordPress. So that's the thought process I already, I always had. And now it's very clear, right? Uh, I don't want anybody, like I never thought of bringing in a marketing person, to hit that or speed up this process, or put in money or run ads and, getting inbound customers, or generally do that SaaS CAC. And, if it works, just put in more money, do that, because then it becomes a real business and then there's no fun.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned about this, because I really wanted to talk about this. So a lot of indie hackers and solopreneurs, they have this thing that there is a debate, right? Like whether we should raise funds or we should have build a lifestyle business. What is your take on it? Like, do you want to build a lifestyle business, or is it like a lifestyle business until a certain point of time, and probably then I will raise funds?
You are correct. Lifestyle business until a certain point of time. And then if I want to I basically, this is what I keep telling to people. So the first 2 years have been like incredibly difficult building Superblog. So I thought, okay, from those 3 years until 32 to 35 of my age, I felt I'll take it slow. I'll travel. I wouldn't even call it lifestyle business. It's just I'm doing something that I love. That's it. And so once I hit 35, I'll take a call, because deep in my heart, from like way before, I want to build something big, huge, that creates a delta in humanity. I will take a call at that point of time, 35. Should I do that, or simply relax and build this product, become much more invested in marketing and build that team, and actually go hit million ARR or not? I'll take a call at that point of time.
It's very interesting how you take decisions based on numbers, right? Like be it your age, or be it the MRR that you want to hit, or the ARR that you want to hit. It's so beautifully you've interlinked your entire thought process around numbers and data. And what I am curious to know is, you are actually currently, doing this all alone, right? When it
Yeah.
comes to managing support requests, of course marketing is there, and other things, of course, everything, there are a lot of things that is given into a SaaS. So how I also saw that podcast where you said that you have optimized a lot of processes, where there are no customer supports that requests that are coming majorly to you, but it's mostly like, if there is some error that happens, that you go and you find out and you try to fix it even before they realize it. So I want to know that process where you have optimized those things, that you have minimized the number of support requests that you're getting.
So this this approach I followed like right day one from building the product. Say, for example, I'll talk SuperBlog product only. It might differ in different products and use cases. But in a blogging platform, right, one of the major problems that customers face is connecting a custom domain. So based on my experience with other user interfaces, say other blogging platforms or GoDaddy or Namecheap, or where this particular module of connecting a custom domain arises, people redirect them into documentation. Then they have to go through that and figure out. So what I did is I just put a button that says like visit tutorial, and then a model pop-up comes up and a YouTube video comes up, showing step by step this is what. That's it. So now it's a major flow enhancement that I think practically 100% of my custom domain requests are solved with that particular small UX. In the same way, there are other places like where I put this customer support, wherever we require customer support, built into the flow itself. So that's how it worked out. And second, documentation. Again, like even I have a lot of like documentation written, and customers get almost whatever they need from the documentation. They don't need to reach out to me. And so initially I was using something called Discourse. Yeah, Discourse. And it's like a forum-based customer support thing. And for example, I built a search bar in SuperBlog dashboard. So where customer can literally enter the search query. In the backend, it actually hits the Discourse. It's an open source tool, so their API, and then fetches the relevant queries from the database and shows in the dashboard itself. Again, like reducing the friction for people to understand that. So in that way, I tend to see however I can minimize the customer confusion, and then I'll practically make sure they don't come to this file, or it's like showing that sign this way, go to this way. That's how I try to do that.
So do you have a walkthrough guide built in the system, or is it just like if I land on Superblog, if any module that I click on, I'll get a YouTube video or a documentation link to it? Is
Not
that
every
that way?
module, and there is no walkthrough guide. I personally am not a big fan of walkthrough guides. I just so I build the UI in such a way that like in 3 clicks you'll have a blog live with your URL. So there the UX really comes into play. And
Yeah, that's important. Yeah.
yeah, and I believe customers should be able to use your product even without documentation. Only when they have specialized queries, then they should get into this loop. Otherwise, there shouldn't be a walkthrough guide also. It just should follow.
Yeah. Okay. Coming to the most burning question, what is your current MRR?
I think it's like 5.3 or 5.4, I guess. I didn't even check recently.
So you're still 3K MRR to like your dream
Yeah.
ARR basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. Now you do know that there were some questions that were asked on Twitter. So let me ask you those questions. I was
Sure.
just looking for it. 1 second. Yeah, your first question is, when are you getting married?
Such a hilarious troll, Abhishek.
Also,
Come on.
this is asked from by Abhishek from Uform. So yeah.
Okay. But thanks for the concern, Abhishek. It's been so long since even I met anyone. So first, I should meet somebody, then date, and then the marriage. So the answer is like it takes so long. But yeah, as a first step, I'm literally meeting someone today. So after a
Wow,
long
all
time.
the
So
best.
thank you. Let's see what happens.
Your next question from Anurag, my co-founder. When are you returning back to India?
Yeah, maybe in 2 months, I guess.
Nice. And why are you actually like currently you're kind of digital nomading, trying to explore places and build
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
that is
So I
something
always
that
wanted to build like travel the world. So now finally, thanks to Superblog, it's have the enough MRR to travel. And also briefly, I was part of an accelerator in Austria, but then I was traveling and doing. So it's like that was like a work come travel trip. But now I'm like usually traveling. And so the idea was like 6 months I'll be outside, 6 months in India, and then travel and explore. That's the reason.
wow, amazing. I think that's a dream for all indie hackers to be at a stage where you can travel and work and do what you love, which you are already
Yeah.
doing. So yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, there are a couple of questions from Lalit Pagaria. He's asking, when are you raising money? When would you like to exit? And why you don't drink tea or coffee? Okay, interesting.
The first question is regarding fundraise, right? So I kind of answered that previously, a half
Yeah.
answer. The second thing is, so with Superblog, I really wanted to build a truly like built-in public company with all best practices, no dark pricing practices or anything. And even for the fundraise, right? So it's basically I'm not doing any outreach. So then it's a real business, right? Like, so it's then the fun is killed. But at the same time, before 100K ARR, if some VC comes in and understands my thought process, and even after raising funds, I want to do build in public. I will actually share this is on the public, like this is the fund we raised, this is the burn, and this is the profits. And I don't want to put that numbers and say, we are growing at this person. It will be true. And if somebody is actually interested to take forward in such a way, I'm okay to raise. It should be an inbound query. I really don't want to go and sharing around pitch decks and doing pitches and all that. I don't want to do that. So if that happens, yes. But otherwise, at 100K ARR, I will think about it very proactive. So second question though, when I'm planning to exit.
Yeah, exactly.
So with Superblog, I'm like very clear. Build to sell framework is fine. If I get good ARR multiple, I'm okay to exit. And last year I got a very good offer, which even I was considering also, but they backed out in the last minute. Bad thing, but it's okay. So yeah, it's just a matter of time. And I don't want to list anywhere because that's not the objective to list on Microacquire or anywhere. Sorry, but yeah, that's it. That's the second question. Third is basically why no coffee, tea. So I don't drink alcohol also, by the way. So the genuine reason basically is whatever that tends to stimulate the brain, we tend to get dependent on that. So I really, really try to take care of my brain. That's all the reason.
So what's your poison?
Buttermilk.
Nice, amazing. True Andhrain. Great, great. Now, just so now we kind of will wrap it up, and I'll ask you just a couple of ending questions in terms of how are you seeing your next year, like from this end of 2024 and 2025 in terms of Superblog. Where do you have some goals set up for that, which you would like to share? And what is your core strength or your personal mode?
Tech plus SEO would be my core strength and personal mode for sure. Because generally it is difficult for engineers to get the growth as well at scale. So that's why I think tech and that is like really my mode. And my biggest goal at this point of time, like the plans for the coming future is completely Superblog to my own cloud. So meaning like completely containerize the entire system where I can move between clouds as I wish. Hetzner or DigitalOcean or anything, right? So right now there are certain components where I'm dependent on certain technologies. If you see my recent tweet, that's what I was trying to solve there. But unfortunately, there's nothing better than Cloudflare at some point of time. So maybe we might need to get logged into that. But so I'm trying to solve few modules that would take some time and do the entire infra migration of my customers also, like to do complete thing and make sure it goes as smoothly as possible with as less downtime as possible. So that's the biggest thing. It will take good enough time is what I'm thinking. And in terms of MRR, yeah, probably by next year I should be at 8.3K. Is what I'm just thinking. And third is again like restructuring the pricing.
Nice, nice, interesting. So just to wrap it all up, what advice would you give to budding entrepreneurs or somebody who's still in their 0 to 1 journey?
That advice really sounds scary for me to give out.
Now I'm asking this because you already have been in this journey, right? And it's like, let's not talk about what advice you'll give others, but what advice you have given yourself probably 4 years back.
Never compromise on product quality because I see a trend recently these days, like just ship it and put it there and all, which is good, but the thing is I would say have a fine balance between shipping speed and product quality, even tilting more on the quality. Like that's what I would say. And we should be open to understand whether the product stands the test of market or not. So if you're able to do that and get the marketing game going on, people should be able to make it.
Yeah, since you mentioned just this one thing, I wanted to get a little bit of insight on basically shipping and product quality, right? Like, how long does it take you to ship one new feature, probably a core feature, let's say, without
It really depends on
without
the feature
affecting the
basically.
quality? Yeah.
It really depends on the feature, like the kind of feature or the amount of time it takes usually. But without loss of generality, I can say uh, even based on my previous experience, right? Like say for example, migrating from Webflow to Superblog or any other feature, like customer wanted a redirects feature, like where they need to redirect certain URLs and all. 6 to 8 hours is what I'm thinking at a higher estimate, but it should take less than that.
Nice, nice. Thank you so much, Sai. Thank you for taking out the time and across all of the things that happened, we were able to record this episode. I hope the audience is going to take away a lot of insights and takeaways from this episode. And again, once again, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, and I wish you to the best. Let's all make it together.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you all for joining in and tuning in with this episode. I hope a lot of you could relate to Sai's journey and others could draw inspiration from his journey. So, if you are looking for a WordPress alternative to write your SEO optimized blog, do check out SuperBlog.ai. And also, if you are looking to collect customer feedback, plan roadmaps, and share product updates seamlessly, do check out productblogs.com. I've linked both the products in the description box below. I will now see you on my next episode. Until then, bye bye. Take care.